The Act of God's Captive. Integral of the Captive's Diary. Episode 3. Written by Abugu Precious Kazim Obialo. It was Dan who opened the door for them on their arrival, and he hugged Johnson so tightly out of excitement before Chizaram came out and saw them. She was extremely happy seeing them and spread her arms wide to Joy for a hug. "Mommy, good morning, ma," Joy greeted, bending down on her knees as she walked up to her for the hug. "Sister Joy of God," she hailed her, laughing. "Hey, see how fresh and beautiful my girl is." Chizaram was shouting as she looked her over in admiration while Joy beamed with smiles. "Uncle Jay, my God will continue to bless you for taking good care of my girl." Chizaram turned and prayed for Johnson from her heart, then turned to Joy again. "Hey, see how beautiful you are, my darling. See fine outfit. Imagine Sister Joy is wearing trousers in this life." She continued, and Joy started laughing, covering her face shyly as she remembered how Chizaram had tried everything possible to get her to start dressing fine, so much that she even had to burn some of her clothes. They all laughed at the way she was looking at Joy and screaming in admiration. All her attention was on Joy's radical transformation, that she didn't take notice of the little Jason with them until when they had taken their seat. Then her eyes fell on the boy, whom she didn't need anyone to introduce to her because the child was the exact replica of Johnson. "Jesus Christ of Nazareth!" Chizaram screamed. "Johnson, this is your son!" she exclaimed, beckoning on the boy to come for a hug, while Johnson affirmed it, laughing. "Oh my God, you have a dominant gene," she told Johnson, looking at the boy in amazement. "My darling, how are you?" she asked the boy, making him to sit on her legs. "I'm fine," Jason replied. "I hope Daddy and Mommy has been taking good care of you," she asked, and he nodded in the affirmative. "That's beautiful. I know they will." "So what's your name, my darling?" she went on talking to the little boy, and he answered her smartly. This boy is very smart," she praised his smartness. "You know what? For being a smart boy, I'm going to give you a gift before you go, okay?" She promised Jason a gift, and he nodded while Johnson and Joy smiled at their conversation. "Please, I'll be right back. Let me go up and call your daddy for the breakfast before our meal gets cold," Chizaram said, excusing herself, and went upstairs. Then Johnson, who was sitting on the same couch with his wife, took her right hand and gently placed it into his, and looking up at him, their eyes met. He looked into her eyes affectionately while caressing her hand gently and said in a whisper, "This is the house God used to bring us together. This is the place I met and fell in love with you," he told her, and she just rested her head on his shoulder, blushing. "Thank you for agreeing to marry me. I love you so much," he said sweetly while stroking her skin gently. "I love you too," she replied, enjoying the stroke, and just then Nnamdi and wife came, climbing down the stairs, and the both stood up respectfully in wait as Nnamdi, climbed down. The moment he came down, Johnson took his wife's hand, and the both walked up to him with courtly bows and greetings. Nnamdi hugged them, delighted to see them and more thrilled to see how good Joy was looking. He couldn't hide his satisfaction. Looking at Joy, he smiled wide. "Son, give me your hand," Nnamdi said to Johnson while stretching out his own hand, and when Johnson stretched out his right hand, Nnamdi took his right hand into his, held it firmly in a handshake, and said, "You are a man, my son." He praised him, and Johnson grinned from ear to ear. "Yes, so he's a man indeed, a true son of his father." Chizaram shouted in agreement with what her husband said. "I'm proud of you, my son. You are a man." For close to 5 minutes, Nnamdi was just standing there staring in amazement at Joy. He would breathe down heavily, smile at her again without saying anything to her, then turn and praise Johnson again and again for the transformation he was seeing in Joy. Joy just stood there beaming and blushing, and at a point, she became shy because of the way Nnamdi was staring at her and smiling. Then she went and hid her face behind her husband, laughing. "Desire, you people should come over to the dining. Our food is getting cold," Chizaram called out to her husband. Nnamdi saw Jason and knew it was Johnson's son, but he was more delighted in seeing Joy that he looked away from the boy at that moment. "I think I'm already full," saying Sister Joy. "Even if I don't get to eat any other thing this morning, it's enough for me. I'm full," Nnamdi said as he walked towards the dining. "Thank you, sir," Johnson said, laughing, then nudged Joy to say the same. "Thank you, Daddy," Joy said cautiously in obedience to her husband. The food was served and everybody took their seats at the dining. There were 2 new ladies in the house and 2 little girls, Divine and Amara, as well as Brother Dan and Brother Chidi, who was new in the house, and they all sat for the family breakfast at the dining. You have to give my own portion of meat and fish to Sister Joy. I want her to eat very well to her fill. I don't want her to ever stop looking this beautiful. Nnamdi said, and Joy blushed with shyness, smiling while Johnson and Chizaram laughed. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching.